Chaos after shots fired near a nursing home in Floresville. We're told the gun used was a pistol, but officials are not sure how many rounds were fired. This is not far from where Vice President Mike Pence is attending a vigil for the victims of the Sutherland Springs church shooting. The scene has now been cleared. We will continue to monitor this story, but first.
We just met earlier with several members of this church who are recovering from injuries at Brooke Army Medical Center. And we were deeply moved by their faith and their resilience.
Breaking news in the last 30 minutes, Vice President Mike Pence spoke in front of the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs. Pence and his wife touched down at Randolph Air Force Base earlier this afternoon. They spent several hours meeting with survivors and their families. Right now, Pence is meeting with families of those who lost their lives on Sunday. In a heartfelt address, he said America is with the community and will not leave their side.
We gather in the resolve that this evil must come to an end in our land.
Pence has pledged the full support from federal police in this investigation. Pence and his wife were greeted by the church's pastor and the two Good Samaritans who chased after the killer in the moments after the attack.
I knew everybody, and my best friend Joanna was in there, and she's gone, and her babies are gone.
I feel sorry for the people that lost their loved ones, and it's going to be hard to accept. I mean, there's no reason for it.
A community struggling to move forward as the identities of the 26 victims killed in the church massacre are released. Today we learned the names of the victims. 9 of them were children and teenagers. Several shooting victims are still hospitalized, 10 of them in critical condition. Hundreds are expected to attend tonight's vigil in Floresville, including Vice President Mike Pence. Many more are still filing in right now. Jeff Brady is there, and Jeff, what can you tell us?
Well, good evening, Sarah. It has been a somber, cloudy, chilly, even a surreal day here in Floresville as this community awaits for the arrival of Vice President Mike Pence and his wife, Second Lady Karen Pence, as well as the media entourage bringing the eyes and the ears of the world, as well as most of Wilson County for that matter. Now, specifically, we're here at Eschenberg Field, which is the high school football stadium for Floresville High School. This stadium can accommodate about 4,500 people, and the reason officials here in Wilson County decided to have this event here tonight, about 14 miles away from Sutherland Springs, is because in Sutherland Springs there simply is no venue that can accommodate a crowd of any great size. Now, we still don't know exactly how many people will be here tonight, but the gates open about 4:30 and people have been streaming in ever since. Vice President Mike Pence himself arrived at Randolph Field about 2:30 or 2:40 today with his entourage. He went from there to Bamsey to visit with survivors and their families. That was a private event, not open to the media at all. Then he went to Sutherland Springs to meet with law enforcement officials to get an update on the investigation, and then he's coming here. We believe he may be on his way here now. We don't know that for sure, but as I said, people have been streaming into this stadium for some time now, for several hours, and my colleague Phil Anaya has been here all day. And Phil, you've been talking to some of the people who've been coming in to attend tonight's prayer vigil.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, Jeff, this tragedy not only hit hard for the town of Sutherland Springs, but really all of Wilson County. We're here at the Floresville High School football field. We know Floresville ISD schools lost 2 students, 3 injured. Nearby Livonia ISD schools had a student killed, several others injured. So this is a far-reaching impact throughout Wilson County. Not too long ago, we spoke with a middle school student here in Floresville. She has a classmate that was shot several times. You're going to hear from her, followed by her mother, who also spoke about this tragedy. Take a listen.
I was just really sad. I hope that if he is still alive right now, that he makes it. I know, but people are still saying he is. But I just hope he's all right.
I didn't know the child personally, but I can't imagine what these parents are going through. I just can't. It's terrible. And we live on 97, and that's where everybody was going and coming And I heard the police and didn't even know that it was happening right under our nose.
No.
I thought that the police were running some kind of strange drill where they were running the police cars, and then we find this out, that it was just right down the street. So it's terrible.
Again, those are Wilson County residents, so this was far-reaching. They knew something bad was going on that day. But, you know, people aren't coming here and leaving empty-handed. There are several groups going above and beyond to help people cope with this tragedy. You saw at the gate, as people are coming in, there's a handful of therapy dogs that people could go and you know, touch and pet and whatnot. There's also a disaster relief group here on behalf of First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs. They're handing out a couple of things, one of which is stuffed animals for children, and also a devotional Bible for kids. So groups going above and beyond to help people really cope with this tragedy.
And this community really reaching above and beyond to take care of its own in some extraordinary ways. So thank you, Phil and Naya, for that. And Sarah, again, we don't know exactly when this ceremony will begin. It's scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. Vice President Mike Pence is scheduled to be the keynote speaker. We don't know how long it'll go, but he is scheduled to be back in San Antonio at 9 o'clock for his return flight to Washington, D.C. Reporting live from Floresville. Sarah, now back to you.
All right, thanks, Jeff.